There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up and welcome into episode number 118 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, no Patrick Kurtzberger, no Matt Gann this week. Today is Friday, April 19th. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. That's where you can find us. And round of applause. Mark Hall back on the pod. He's back, folks. Back. We're happy to have you back. Good to see you. How you living?
Good, man. Really glad to be back. This is the only podcast I really followed while I was gone.
What a guy.
And man, you guys can really keep it tight without me. You get in, you get out. There's not a lot of dilly
Quick, 30, 35 minutes, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Do it for the people. Do it for the people,
I don't know what I'm doing then.
No, you're doing a lot. Just
not for the people.
No, you just have a lot to add. And it's good ad.
That's a good way
ad.
to flip that.
Yeah, it's good ad for sure. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's Thursday. We're almost through the week. That's good news.
We are.
Just excited about the spring game coming up.
Yep, recording on a Thursday night, and as of our recording time, 5:58 p.m. Central Time, a few minutes ago, George Stoya, I believe, credit for the breaking news, I would say, reporting that the spring game is moving to 2:30 p.m. on Saturday due to weather. They're pushing it back to avoid some incoming weather.
It's supposed to rain, I think.
Yeah.
Storm and stuff in Oklahoma. It's supposed to rain in Dallas here like all day on Saturday. So
yeah, it's going to be kind of crappy weather all over Oklahoma and Dallas. So that is a big deal. Also on the spring game note, well, I'll open it to you guys after this. It doesn't feel as big of a deal as it normally does. Am I wrong in that sense?
The fan push seems to be a little muted compared to the last couple of years. And I've been out of the world for a while, but has Brent directed fans to attend this game like he has the last couple of years? I'm not as sure.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I might have missed a quote somewhere, but
no,
I think the energy is down a little bit. I think the energy is down. However, the energy shouldn't be down because we're going into the SEC.
Agreed.
And have they announced SEC media days yet? Because I know they just announced Big 12 media days.
It'll be in July.
And it was very weird not seeing OU on the Big 12 media day list. And I was like, that prompted in my brain. I was like, oh, this is real. This is actually happening. So we should be, I feel like, more excited for this. We get to see, Jackson Arnold again. We get to see this new offense. We get to see a new defensive coordinator, what he's going to do. There's a lot of new stuff, and maybe that's why it's been muted, because people don't really know how to feel about all of it yet.
Sure.
But I do feel I don't think there's been a call to action like there has been the past couple of years.
Doesn't feel like it.
To be clear, the last 2 years were aberrations.
They were.
That's the thing. This is a normal spring game response, and I think that's okay. A lot of people just aren't interested the way we are.
Yeah. Well, and fans, what was the drama about having to pay for a spring game ticket?
So stupid.
I thought when I was going up, I had to you're a student.
It's
whatever,
been like that since
I thought you've always had to buy a
years.
spring game ticket. I never thought it was free admission.
I think you're right, but someone noticed it online.
Okay.
Got their joke.
Online is more every month we go by. Twitter and everywhere else is just more of a cesspool. It's it brings out the worst of people.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
From what I understand and what I remember, you have always had to pay for a spring game ticket. It's been between $10 and $15 forever.
Agreed.
I'm surprised really they haven't pumped up with inflation and everything. They haven't pumped up the prices. You know, it's been pretty consistent, and people are just annoying online. That's my summary, I think.
I can agree with that. So what we got for you today, people, we're going to look ahead to the spring game, a couple days away now. Going to kind of talk about it. We're going to give you our predicted MVPs of the spring game, maybe some breakout stars of the spring game, kind of what we're looking for on either side of the ball. Ryan mentioned new coordinators on both sides of the ball, so that's something to look at as well. But guys, I really want to start with who's really going to be showing up. And as of now, like there's in the 70s of recruiting attendees, whether that be via incoming 2025 seniors or transfer portal guys. Breaking news today, the Indiana defensive lineman Philip Bliddy is not coming anymore.
Nope.
He announced that himself via his Twitter or X, whatever you want to say. And so that's a guy who's not showing up. But other than that, some big transfer names, TCU defensive lineman Dominic Williams, defensive lineman Jermaine Lowell from Louisville, and Branson Hickman, offensive lineman from SMU. So big transfer targets coming in, as well as, you know, all the other guys that you know of from the 2025 class and in even earlier 2024 guys, I'm sure, or 2026 guys going as well. I'd have to guess.
Yeah, I'm wondering how big this is gonna, like, I saw that number. It was like I think you're right. It was in the 70s, somewhere around there, like high 70s. That's a lot of people coming in, and I'm interested to see how they just like they like organize this, because we've had the barbecues and stuff in the summer, and like these very large very like large events where people come in. I can't for the life of me remember how many recruits we had at last year's spring game. But this seems like a lot. It seems like we have a lot of like tendrils and a lot of different things going on right now, and I really like that. However, I am curious in the day and age of NIL, like how are you able to, and maybe this is just a nerd in me, but like how are you able to like coordinate and give attention to like 70 something different guys who you're like wanting to come here, knowing that you can't get all of them, right?
So that's something that I was just about to touch on before you brought it up. In past years, that's what Brent has been so good at, that we've heard reports of. He makes all of those recruits feel special for coming there. Like they have those finite weekends in the spring to attend, and choosing to go to OU, I think Brent makes it a point to thank everyone and their families for attending the spring game. So it's a big family push, a big, appreciation push for Brent this weekend and the rest of the staff. Like we said, guys in the 70s, you have however many assistant coaches it is, you're going to be spread thin. It's going to have to be a lot of work. And I think they're kind of used to it, but like we talked about, new defensive staff, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinators, it's going to be different. It's just going to be different.
Players host these guys on these weekends too. So it's a different kind of strain on your guys to ask them to put up with another 80 bodies. I mean, not necessarily. I don't know how much the class of 2026 is getting down yet.
Yeah.
But, I also think you can sort of stack them in different levels, right? Like we've got our transfer guys. Those are your immediate NIL targets. Those are the people that, the Dominic Williams, the TCU lineman that we're going to hit on, I know, but he's coming into town. It's his first official visit. He has 5 visits lined up, 4 after us. What if he just doesn't leave Norman? That's the kind
we've seen that happen before.
Yeah, we've seen stuff like that happen before. So I don't think that that's, impossible. And then you look at your class of 25 guys. These are the next ones up. And they've also, I've seen invites for 26. I don't think I've seen 27, but maybe, we probably will see some 27 dudes there. I think that your sort of just planting little seeds with a lot of these guys. Maybe not the 25 guys. By the 25 class, you're sort of locking in, right? But these 26 and maybe 27 guys, I think you're just planting seeds, and then maybe it goes quiet for a bit. But then by the time their junior year really rolls around, they're getting recruited hard. Invited to the spring game is something they call back to because they actually chose to attend.
So what you're saying is the 26 guys get the smaller welcome package. They don't get like the larger, like, hey, this is this is the huge thing, a basket we're rolling out to you of all of these goodies. Here you go.
Well, I don't think, man, I would hope that we're not just like dropping mini bags on people just for attending the spring game.
I don't know.
I mean, they get treated well, I'm sure, but anything past Chick-fil-A, I'm worried about my NIL money.
So Mark hit on it. I want to go ahead and mention it right now. TCU defensive lineman Dominic Williams, obviously going to be a massive target this weekend. So he has an OU visit this weekend, a midweek visit to Texas, a weekend visit to Colorado. That looks as though a midweek visit to LSU, and then Missouri and Oregon are to be announced. He had 60 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks during his time at TCU. So that's a guy. I think it's good you get him on a weekend. You know, I would not want to have that guy midweek. I feel a lot better about getting him on a weekend. Get him in Norman. It says April 20th through the 21st. So maybe they have some activities planned on Sunday for those guys. Don't know exactly what that would be. But he's a good target.
Activities on Saturday.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyone?
I thought someone was gonna go like Bueller. Like anyway.
Yeah,
I thought Mark was gonna talk about him. He seemed interested.
Mark seems coy, and I don't know.
He seems a little coy, which is weird.
Yeah.
No, not like no. I don't mean to be coy. Saturday's a fun day. I don't have too much except that what we are. So the defensive line is one of those places where it looks like we need to add depth. It looks like they want to add depth, especially with Jacob Lacey's retirement. You're looking at DeJoun Terry, 2 freshmen, and who comes to mind for you guys? I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but if it could be Dominic Williams, that's a big add. 6'2", 320. We don't have anyone at that size. Jaden Jackson's not that big. DeJoun Terry's not that big.
Yeah, so, Grayson Halton.
G-Baby, we'll see.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's just, but you mentioned the 2 freshmen and DeJoun.
David Stone, Jaden Jackson, and DeJoun Terry, right? Yeah. Even if you assume that Grayson Halton comes into his own this season, you still want more bodies than that. And
completely.
This is a great new body to add. So I think there's one more D lineman that's coming in too, but as Ryan mentioned, we are no longer having Philip Bleedy come in. So I hope we get one.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to hit on one, in my opinion. Going to have to. Yeah. Ryan, anything to add before we move on?
No, I think, I think we're kind of getting into like what we're most looking forward to and like what are like the positions, because we've kind of already, you guys are referencing the D-line and how we need some more bodies there. So like, I guess my question is like, what are we looking forward to most on like the offensive side and the defensive side?
So I think on the offensive side, people are going to jump at like the Jackson Arnold of it all and be excited. I'm here to tell you right now, I don't think you're going to get a lot of Jackson Arnold pop in this game. I think he'll be in there and he'll make a couple throws and it'll be exciting, but like, I don't think you're going to leave this game being like Jackson Arnold home run, like we're golden. Like, I just don't think you're going to get that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this wide receiver room has developed over the the winter. I want to see what these guys look like. I've been seeing some sick hype videos of Jaden Gibson. Love to see more of that. That'd be a lot of fun. You're not going to see Andrew Anthony, I don't believe.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get to see him. Um, I'm excited about the wide receiver room on the offensive side of the ball. I think there's a lot there to be happy about. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see it. Nick Anderson, a guy, obviously you want to see Nick Anderson too. You're like, that's another guy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm excited to see the offensive line and seeing like what we can get from that. I know Troy Everett's injury hurts us at center, but I think what they'll put in Bates probably. Is he gonna be center?
He's who's been filling in.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how he does and just really how that core group of guys works together. That has been my biggest worry on the offensive side of the ball since last year ended, and it is still my biggest worry on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm really interested to see how that's developed. I know a couple guys have looked really good over the spring, but I want to see that more in action. From the QB room, I agree with you, Mason. I don't think we're gonna get like all of Jackson Arnold. However, I am still interested to see how he deals with pressure because it is that was kind of the crippling aspect of his last performance against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So how can he deal? And again, this kind of goes back to the offensive line. If the offensive line can't hold them, how does he deal with pressure?
Yeah.
And if the offensive line can hold them, how does he deal with having a bit more time to throw the ball and not being rushed, as he's talked about, like in more recent interviews? So I think those are things I'm kind of looking forward to on the offensive side of the ball.
Mark?
Yeah, give me one Jackson Arnold. I disagree with you guys. I think we're going to see a lot from Jackson. Not as far as like maybe he doesn't take every snap, but I expect him to be fairly successful against the defense. That I wish we were seeing him against real pressure, but against the touch.
Simulated. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to escape things he wouldn't really escape, and they're going to give him a sec to let him throw the ball because they want to see the rep. That's what the coaches want from it. So they're not going to call a play dead like that. Past Jackson, all the other quarterbacks. I think that number 2 job is open. And
it's way open.
You would expect it to be Casey Thompson's because he comes in older than the 3 of us. But why does it have to be? Why does that have to be the case? I don't think that it does. I think from everything I was reading abroad, Michael Hawkins was really shining, at least for the first week or 2 of spring ball. So I'll be very interested to see. I'm reminded of Nick Evers a little bit, and Nick Evers had the arm, but I think the game was still too fast for him. And if Michael Hawkins is already sped up to the game, then that is just a gigantic win for Oklahoma in any kind of bad scenario involving the Jack offense. So I'll be watching that group and really hoping to see good performances from Hawkins specifically because he's the most interesting guy behind Jackson to me.
Yeah, and we need a good backup because Lord Almighty, we found out what happened when we didn't have a good backup 2 years ago. So
I think what I most need to see from Jackson is the ability to work through his progression, whatever that progression may be. I feel as though in that last game we saw him against Arizona, it was, I'm throwing to this guy and I'm throwing to this guy. Like he's going to throw it. And that you need to be able to see him take some growth and maybe move down the line a little bit. And I'm not here to hate on the guy. He's my quarterback.
I just think we're forgetting the offensive line that was playing in that game.
You're right. 100%. Yes. And that is something that's a big factor as well. Yeah. But it's also funny that Ryan mentions the offensive line and like, we're going to fall in love with an offensive line. And like 3 out of the 5 guys that we fall in love with are going to be like bums by September.
We'll say on bird action.
Yeah, for real. It's just,
I didn't say we were gonna fall in love.
No.
with
No.
the
I know you did it. I'm saying for me, like I'm gonna be like,
happens.
I'm gonna be like, yo, man, did you see that guy?
Did you see how big he was?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Did you see that? You see that?
I think it's more likely we see the defensive line succeed than the offensive line.
I agree with that.
In a game like this.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's all kind of simulated, and the defense just gets to push.
Yeah. Speaking of the defense,
what a segue.
Yeah. Speaking of the defense, Mark, go ahead. What are you looking for on the defensive side of the ball? What are you most looking forward to?
All right. So are we doing offensive and defensive MVPs too? Do we want to do that?
Yes.
At the
We
end?
will. Yeah,
At the
we
end.
will
Okay,
at
cool.
the end. Yeah,
Cool.
we'll do it at the end.
Then I'll set that
Set
aside.
the
set the stage.
stage.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put that over there. I'll get to that later. This is a fun one. I would say the defensive line, but I don't really like, what am I going to see in a spring game that's going to like give me too much in that scenario? So give me the corners. I want to see who plays well in the cornerback position. I'm really looking forward to see which of the rising sophomores gets reps first between Jacoby Johnson, Makari Vickers, and what's his name, Mason?
Josiah Wagner.
Josiah Wagner, the one who like got the most snaps last week, you know?
Yeah.
So between those three guys, who hits the field first and where? Who are they across from? Where are they playing? It's all very intriguing, I guess. And then that one-on-one battle with the receiver, that's game experience. He wants it as bad as you do, dude. So that's something that I'll be looking for anytime we throw the football. Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Ryan.
Mark didn't say the defensive line, so I'm going to say the defensive line.
Yeah, good.
I think I'm really interested in the freshmen. I'm really interested in David Stone. I'm really interested in Jane Jackson. Like, I've heard, we've heard great things coming out of the spring from them, especially Stone. I want to see it. And I don't know if we'll actually see it in this game, like with everything that's going on, like with the purpose of a spring game. It's not going to be the exact environment that I really want to see. However, I think it'll be a little bit more elevated than like a practice. So the idea here is, we've talked a lot about the depth at the D line. Can we count on these two incredibly young men to be able to step up? And we're going to find out at least a little bit probably in a couple days.
I want to see PJ also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I include him on that list of like young guys as like on the defensive line that I'm like really excited for. I swear I'm not doing this for the sake of content, but like I had the linebackers circled before we even started this. So anyone not named Danny Stutzman or Jaron Kanak, that's who I'm locking in on. So Kip Lewis Carter, Kobe McKenzie is another guy. How do they develop? Yeah, exactly. And even
Phil.
And even
I haven't seen him.
I know, and even at the cheetah position, Kendall Dolby. I want to see what that looks like as well, because we saw, and I'm not here to tell you that Jaron's going to suck in the fall, but like we had a moment where he kind of did, and Kip Lewis had to save us a little bit. Who's that other guy in the linebacker room who we can kind of lean on? I think between Lewis Carter and Kobe McKenzie, one of those guys has got to step up and say, I can be the next dude. I can be him.
So are you saying you're done with Jaron Kanak? Because
no,
when you said leave him out, I'm thinking like, no, put him in that other group, because we need to see more.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of a role is he going to play, and how well is he going to play it? Because Kip Lewis came in, they slid Danny over to the mic, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was a better twosome than having Jaron on the field. I've always said, and you guys have just like nodded along, he's great rushing the passer. So if you have him there in like very specific scenarios, maybe he slides over and plays more of a Sam backer position, which is the cheetah sort of, but you can get after the ball a little bit better with him. That's what he's been able to do. And if he can't do more than that, you got to get Kip Lewis back in the game.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with Jaron, like I do think he's the most like physically gifted of that group. And that's why I didn't need to see a ton from him. Like I kind of know what I got with him. Like you said, he can rush the passer. The dude can go downfield better than almost anyone in that room. That's what I know I get out of Jaron. How did he grow, or how is he going to continue to grow? Can you read a gap? Can you know where they're going to go and not fill the wrong one? That's where he kind of needs to grow. And I'll hand up, that's where Danny needed to grow too, before Danny grew. And that's how I ate my words. That's what made me so mad about Danny Stutzman, is because he was so downhill, so aggressive to the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's kind of what it feels like with Jaren. And I see the picture. Like, he's on the field for a reason. The coaches wouldn't put him on the field if he was dog shit, right? Like, they know what they have in him. He's just got to rise to the occasion. And I think he can. That's kind of why I put him in that Danny group, just for that reason.
Yeah, he might have the Danny trajectory where Mason really hates somebody for a year, and then he starts to love them.
Fuels them.
Yeah, it fuels them. Get in Twitter arguments with his dad without realizing it's his dad.
I didn't know that happened.
Oh yeah. I did not know it was Danny Sussman's dad, and I was talking mad shit. And I was just like,
now you get.
And he was coming back at me, and I'm like, if you're watching this and you think this guy's good, you're crazy. I'll have to go back and find him. Like, dude, I was going ham. I was not scared because his dad has like a Baylor avatar. And like, because his dad
those
played
Baylor people can get
his
you.
dad
Watch
played
out.
at Baylor or something. And his name's like Papa Hop or something like that. So I was like, I don't know who this guy is. Whatever, you bum. Like, so credit to me. Hey, hand up.
Credit to you.
Hand up. I did it. I'm not shying away from it. Not shying away from it. Okay. So we've covered the defense. Are we looking for MVPs now?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do, unless Mark, you got something else?
Yeah, but Mark, you got another position group.
Hey, well, no, I heard you were about to. I didn't know.
I did have one fast one. They moved Deshaun McCullough. He's playing more of a regular linebacker position now. Yeah. So let's see how he can apply that force that way.
Okay. Offensive MVP. Let's go ahead and get that started. I kind of led with mine. So Jaden Gibson. That's going to be mine.
That was going to be mine.
Gibson. Was it? Sorry. My bad.
My bad. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I think Jaden Gibson I'll expand upon that. I think Jaden Gibson has a really good day. I think they send him on vertical routes because they know that's what they got in him. But I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of what he looks like in more of a horizontal role, if that makes sense. Because you aren't going to have Andrew Anthony there. So someone's going to have to step up into those like quick hitter kind of routes. And I think Jaden's the guy to kind of slide in and do that. I'd be interested to see what that looks like.
I'm taking this sort of in a hopeful manner, and I'm going to say Javonte Barnes. I want to see the Javonte Barnes that I think he was quoted telling Parker Thune. It might not have been Parker, but he comes to mind that like he didn't feel right all of last year. He felt like he was hurt all of last year, and now he feels right. So aspirationally, I'm going to say Javonte Barnes, and he gets like 10 carries, 150 yards, something really great like that.
Mm-hmm. I am going to, my pick was Jaden Gibson, but my second pick, I'm going to go off of something Mark said earlier. Michael Hawkins, I think, because I think that there's an opening there for sure. And someone's going to step into it, and someone's going to show out and be like, yes, this is mine. And I think it's going to be him.
Isn't it weird? General Booty just has never gotten the shot.
He's just rolling off his name, and he's, it's, you come to Oklahoma, you better be really good. And he probably could go somewhere else and play, but he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I respect it.
Imagine being a quarterback named General Booty in your college years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need.
You're having a great time. Defensive MVP. Mark, I'll start with you.
Peyton Bowen.
Damn it.
People. He took mine too.
I think he is ready to make an appearance back on the field. I've said it before. He does stuff that other guys can't do. He makes plays that other guys don't make. He is cerebral and physical and fast and closes on the ball at the exact right angle at the exact right time. He's just a very special player in the secondary. Obviously, we have two returning safeties in Billy Bowman and Robert Spears Jennings, but to have a guy like that in the wings or even battling for snaps elsewhere or there, he's just a special football player, and I'm excited to see him back on the field. Peyton Bowen.
Ryan.
Yeah, well, Peyton Bowman's also mine. That's okay. We're gonna audible here. Kip Lewis, because I remember watching the linebacker room last year, and I remember being like, and I think to all of your points, Mason, that you said earlier, like that we need people to step up in there. And I watched him and I'm like, this is the guy. Like this is him. He knows what to do. We've talked a lot about how from a physical aspect, Kanik is like the guy, right? You're like, oh, he just is like the person that should be good at this, but he just can't really get there. He doesn't really know how to do it. Like he didn't have and I think that was a quote from Brent at one point that he didn't really know how to play linebacker yet. Kip Lewis is the person who just knows. He just has that like instinct that I think very similar to Peyton Bowen. These guys just know how to play this role. So I'm interested and I have high hopes for this guy. And I think he's going to be a standout.
My MVP prediction is going to be, shout out to Patrick Hertzberger, Jaden Action Jackson. I think you have all those defensive line transfers visiting, right? OU is making it pretty much known, right? They need depth on the defensive side on the defensive line. I think the time is now for Jaden Jackson to show early in his career, hey, I can be a guy and I can be a big cog in this machine early in my career. I wanted to say David Stone, but like I feel like David is kind of like a lock. Like
he's kind of already
like
there.
I think everyone kind of already expects that from him. Jaden was a guy who wasn't like and also like he's a great player in his own right, obviously. And I think this is where he kind of shows you like, hey, I know David was the biggest name in this class and a great get, but like I'm kind of a big deal too. And I'm here to cause some problems, especially in the SEC. And that's where it's going to matter. I think in the trenches, that's how SEC football's won. Your defensive line is going to have to start showing up. And I think Jaden Jackson can kind of get us in that right direction and kind of show like, oh, so Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates know what they're looking at. They kind of know what they're doing here. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Jaden's body is more ready than David's, and it'll be good to see if that holds up in real live competition.
I agree. Let us know down below in the comments who your offensive and defensive MVPs for the spring game are. A preview, I guess. Who do you think it's going to be? And also, what are you looking for out of the game? What do you want to see out of the game? Are you going to the game now that it's pushed back to 2:30? Let us know. Are you going to brave the weather? Gentlemen, anything else before we kind of move on?
Not till we move. No, I just have another thing I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think attendance is gonna be like?
I think it's gonna be. I think you're gonna look at like 45K.
I was thinking 45 to 55, somewhere in that sweet spot.
Yeah, because the stadium holds 90-ish or a little less than.
Pushing it back might help, but also might not. So I don't know.
Oh, and also I didn't think about the weather.
Yeah, I think you guys are optimistic.
Yeah, I think with the weather now, I'm gonna move that down to probably half that. Yep. I think 25.
I'm wondering if
2025.
I'm wondering if the weather. I haven't looked at the forecast, but I'm wondering if the weather is supposed to be bad in the morning, so like that's why they pushed it back, or if it's supposed to be bad like all day. Like if it's bad all day and it's raining all day, we're looking at like 20, 25. If it's supposed to like clear up toward
canceled game.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just rain, they can deal with it. But if it's like thunder and lightning and stuff, yeah.
All right. So Saturday, man, I don't know. So it looks to taper off afternoon. So like afternoon, it'll taper off. So in the morning, you're looking at about like a 50% chance until about noon. And then it severely drops off as of 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. So, weather in Oklahoma can always change, but that's I guess kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, some people I saw on like Twitter were like, "Let's beat the 75,000 record."
Fam, that
I was
ain't
like, "That's not happening."
That ain't happening. I can't remember. I feel it's probably easy to look up. Ohio State, I want to say had like 55 there. I don't know if that sounds right or not at their game, but I remember hearing that number and I was like, that's not a bad number. Like I'd be okay with that. That's okay.
I'm glad that the nationwide arms race around spring games has actually subsided.
Yeah, true.
We were kind of the leaders in that, though.
Oh yeah,
We were.
when it mattered, and we led the cause.
It mattered then, but like now it doesn't. Weirdo.
Well, it's like
No.
you used to be able to decorate hotels, and now you can't decorate the hotel rooms for recruits.
Yeah.
We've just moved on. We've moved past this. We're just paying them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, moving
Mason,
on.
do you want to play the Bulls or the Heat?
I don't want to play the Heat. I want to play the Bulls.
wanna play the Bulls?
I'm sick of seeing the Heat. Sick of seeing it.
Understandable. If you don't make it to the NBA Finals, is it a failed season?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. If you don't win the NBA Finals, is it a failure?
Yes.
I love this. All right.
No, yeah, I'm like
so
it's the folks. In case you're wondering, Boston Celtics fan here. That's what Mark's kind of asking me about. I'm ready to get hurt again. Is just really what it is. Like
This usually
truly.
happens every year with you, Mason.
I swear to
I'm
God.
sorry,
Listen
but
to
it
me.
does.
I'm saying this right now. I swear to God, if we make the finals and so do the Thunder and we lose to the Thunder, I'm gonna move out of this state. I will. I'll move out. I'll leave. I will not deal with it.
Hey, we got
can't-
space for you down here in Texas.
I
Just
can't
come
do
on
it.
down.
I can't do it. Also, I don't follow the NBA closely enough. Like I follow my Celtics. I know when they win or lose. But why do Mark, maybe, and Ryan, you probably may know this as well. Why do people dislike Jason Tatum so much? Is it because he's like kind of gooby a little bit? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I think it's because he's been like to the larger people, the same dude for 3 or 4 years. And he always gets to a certain point and then kind of doesn't play well or
Fair.
falls off in the big moment. James Harden's
Been there.
himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, things like that. But I think it's also just like he's been the same dude for all that time as a person. And the narrative on Jason Tatum only moves so much. So people fill in the void.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I obviously love Jason Tatum. I think he's a very, very good basketball player. He, at one point this season, I thought was going to win the MVP, but I think that's since tapered off. I don't even know who the odds on favorite is now.
I mean, it's Jokic or Doncic, right?
Or SGA.
Or
or
SGA.
SGA.
Yeah,
This is
SGA was the
OU Sports Podcast, guys. We have got to mention SGA there.
I don't interact with the Thunder. So I'm
Hey,
just
I mean,
like,
I don't and I don't dislike the Thunder. Let me be clear. I don't dislike the Thunder. I'm just saying, as a guy who lives in Oklahoma who's a big Celtics fan, if that's how I lose the NBA finals, it's gonna be really tough. It's not gonna be fun for me. It's gonna suck.
The Boston Celtics are minus 230 to win the Eastern Conference.
That scares me. Yeah, that scares me. I don't
the
like
Heat
that a
also
lot.
can come out of nowhere. Like
Well,
they
I
did
know.
last
Well,
year.
and Jimmy Butler's not playing on Friday night, correct?
Right.
That's
Mhm,
what I heard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't want to play the Heat. I've seen them enough. I don't want to play the Heat.
They're sneaky.
They're a problem. I don't trust Eric Spoelstra. He's a freaking problem. I just get rid of it. The Bulls are whatever to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not a thing.
Kobe White's not going for 42 against Drew Holiday.
No, no.
My
he's not.
my question for y'all are y'all ready for the San Antonio Spurs rise over the next 2 to 3 years? Are you guys
Did you-
prepared for it?
I'm
Did
excited.
you see the interview today where
With
he was
Wemby?
like, I don't drink, I don't
Yeah.
party, I don't do drugs. I don't need to compensate for anything. Dude, you know how not to make friends with all of your adult teammates is to condescend to them as a 19-year-old. So I'm back to thinking he's just tall and he's
Okay.
gonna start getting real sunned
I
down
just-
low.
I
And
just
we gotta have a dialogue about
This is-
Popovich too, because a
this is-
well-coached player doesn't say shit like that.
This is Mark. This was Mark at the fucking draft. Sorry.
I just
language at the
Yeah, sorry.
draft being like, oh, Wemby's not gonna be that good. I don't know what you're talking about. He's gonna be a bust. And
Wimby Shingun, right? That's what I say. Who do you want?
I just
Who do you really
can't
want?
help. I can't help but picture like the Spurs on the road in like freaking Portland, and all the guys are in the hotel room playing poker, and Wimby walks in. He goes, knock knock. It's 9:30, guys. Lights out. Like,
in his French ass
amazing,
accent.
just
being like-
amazing.
and he's like taller than the
yeah,
door.
yeah,
He's,
he has
like,
a
leaning
dog.
down.
Yeah,
Slend-
And they're
no,
like,
it
"Yes, sir."
follows on the beach. That's freaking windy.
Yeah, that is.
Yes. But you guys didn't answer my question. Are you ready? Because it's coming.
I said I was. I said I'm ready.
Yeah. It
might
might
not be next year, but we have Atlanta's pick. We're bad this year, so we should get a pretty decent pick, even though this draft class is
bad.
Yeah, I was about to say this draft class isn't any good, is it?
And you really flubbed the Josh Primo first round pick.
Okay.
You did.
I love it.
I love it.
This is what you come for. How the Rockets? How you feel about the Rockets? Let's
I feel great, man. I said it at the time. The Ime Udoka pickup was the most significant signing of last offseason. I think that we got every dollar's worth out of Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. And the rookie class, Amen Thompson, looks like maybe he if he's starting, he's all defense candidate next season. He is insane just guarding guards and can get all the way down to some fives. Cam Whitmore should not have fallen as far as he did. He looked like a star during especially the parts of the season when Jalen Green wasn't right. Jalen Green got right at the end of the year, so you don't want to trade him. Alperen Şengün did everything that you know he can do, and he is so young still. He's going to be a star. Jabari Smith is everything an optimized dude like him should be. He's a great defender. He's super long. He's 6'10". He can stroke the three. He can put it on the ground like one time. Tari Eason doesn't even play that much this season, and they go for 41 wins. I'm super excited about the young incoming Rockets.
Love it. All right, my computer's about to die, so let's do our PGP MVPs of the week. Let's do it. Ryan, who's your MVP, man?
Crap, I didn't think about this.
Mark, who's your MVP?
Get me next.
Mark,
all right, I'm going to go LVP Ryan for not having an MVP ready.
Rude.
Guy just did not come prepared for this here podcast.
Yeah, someone else didn't come prepared.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then he's not prepared.
Okay, I got it. Okay. Masters winner, Scotty.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff.
He Longhorn.
No, it's whatever.
He's a Longhorn, but it's fine.
He is.
It's fine. It's fine. I like Scotty. I like. He's a good dude. He said some like really really cool things after winning about just like it got a little religious, which is great for Scotty, but like it was just all about how like he had to get home to his wife who was about to give birth. And that like things were more important than winning, and like things were more important than golf, and this like wasn't his personality, and yet the dude just like held firm in a very tough environment and did not falter. And a lot of people falter in that position, and he didn't. And I just think the dude's super impressive, and he's only 27, and he has a very long career ahead of him. So Scotty Scheffler.
Love it. Mark, who's your MVP?
Oh, I was gonna just roll with it.
Oh, you can roll with that? That's fine.
No, but hey, real MVP, all of the guys without me here, because I'm back and it's immediately a longer pod again.
That's true. My MVP.
He's not lying.
my MVP is Bill Belichick. ESPN analyst Bill Belichick. Dude getting paid by ESPN for having no personality at all. Shout out to him, man. That's a big payday for a dude who has the personality of a cucumber.
I thought this was okay. There it kind of is. I was expecting the sarcasm to pop up any minute now.
I mean, he's the greatest. He's the greatest NFL coach of all time. I'll give him credit, but let's not joke. It's going to take 5 weeks of his analysis to get boring as hell. Like you put him on that NFL live set, I'm turning it off. That's boring. They're trying to put him on personality. They're trying to put him on Pat McAfee to throw him a bone and try to get Pat to pull something out of him. I don't know if it'll work. I just don't.
So 2 thoughts. One, I do think he's going to be better than you think he'll be. He's done the NFL Top 100. He was heavily involved in like the hosting of players for that, and was a bit more personable than I think you'd expect. So I'll put a little bit in the Belichick camp on that one. Second, I do not like the McAfee fit there. That's
That's weird.
It just seems like 2 completely different vibes. And
Maybe that's why they think people will watch it.
Yeah, maybe it's a yin and yang thing, right? But I think it's just going to be, the vibe shifts are going to be off.
Yeah. Who's your MVP? Let us know. Let us know down below in the comments. Thanks for sticking with us on this episode of the Program Guys podcast. Episode 118 is in the books. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. We'll be back with you next week. Enjoy the spring game. Have fun. If you're going, stay dry, stay warm, and we will see you next week. Ryan, take us out.
Keep pushing, baby.